Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This infringement of copyright is called fair use, and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news, reporting, teaching, and parody. This means you. Now, let me be very clear before I start this review. I don't hate Family Guy. On the contrary, it's my second favorite adult cartoon of all time, just under Rick and Morty. However, just like Rick and Morty, I know when an episode is not up to par with some of the better ones, and I'll talk more about that when I review it. But back on topic, Family Guy certainly has its moments of bad episodes, and a lot of them came from when they killed Brian, then brought him back and became a douche nozzle. Ever since Life of Brian, we had Brian's a Bad Father, which shows he'll use anyone to further his career, including his own son that he never loved. Herpy the Love Sore shows Brian won't hesitate to ruin someone's life, even if it's own family members, and especially doesn't care when it's a baby. Brian the Closer shows how much of a dick he can be financially, ruining the only person who ever had the balls to tell him off. Our Idiot Brian shows, well, honestly, I'm not sure what this one shows, but I plan on reviewing all of the above very soon. So please take into consideration that Brian is a heartless jerkwad who deserves no sympathy from anyone. Also, before I start the breakdown of the episode, I must tell you that I'll only be focusing on the main plot. I'm going to ignore plot B, and I'll skip over mentioning any cutaway gags, because let's face it, there's a lot in Family Guy, and I still have a copyright strike. So let's begin with Stewie is pregnant. It starts with Stewie wanting to spend time with Brian. When he sees Bonnie and Joe playing with their baby Susie, he comes to the conclusion that babies keep families together, so he invites Brian to the tea party, of which he takes the fur from Brian. Then the most cringeworthy part of this episode happens. A needle injects Stewie with Brian's DNA, causing him to get pregnant. After Brian tells Stewie how wrong all of this is, Stewie tries to make him look like the bad guy. Unfortunately, I cannot play any audio due to copyright. I'll just basically say this time Brian is in the right, even if he's going about it the wrong way by punching Stewie in the belly or trying to get rid of the kid and some other rest of the way. The rest of the story, at least for a while, plays in all the stereotypes of a pregnant mother fighting backaches, morning sickness, and all Brian wants is for Stewie to have a miscarriage. Then they have the pregnancy pictures taken, and you can see the horror on Brian's face. But you know what? It's really hard for me to feel sorry for him. This is karma, Brian. Sure, it may be hideous and disgusting, but nevertheless, it's karma, you literal son of a bitch. We then see them at a McBurger Town where Stewie's water breaks, and then they give birth in Brian's car, giving birth to septuplets, which are... honestly, these are the most hideous creatures you could create. Not to mention they're blind, deaf, boneless, and stupid. Eventually, they can't take it anymore, so they put them up for adoption in an animal shelter. And you want to know what the worst part is? The whole plot was built on nothing. They each wanted to hang out together, which means Stewie's plan for a kid was all for naught. Fuck this episode, fuck Stewie, and fuck Brian. Take care.
Having my baby, what a love.